Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jesus Salinas. I am saying good hello from Chiclayo City in the north of Peru, and I'm glad to be your host today. Today we have marvelous speakers to continue with this teacher development, the ABC of teacher development conferences that we have. All right. Okay. Let me introduce the first speaker of today's presentation. Yeah, well, she's a good friend of mine. She's Katia Adriansen. Katia holds a master's degree in education from Universidad de Piura, has also obtained international certifications from Cambridge ESO, and has been working in the ELT field for more than 20 years. She has been a teacher of English at all levels, from kindergarten to adults, a teacher trainer preparing teachers to sit international exams, apart from training them in specific courses in the primary and secondary level. In the past 20 years, she has also been working as a professor at Universidad de Piura and a coordinator in a prestigious bilingual school. Today, she's presenting her workshop, Online Teaching Tips. Teaching online has been a real challenge this year, but our passion for teaching has been even greater. We've learned how to manage all those new tools, apply new evaluation systems, redecorate our houses. Why? The only and main reason, our students. Let's have a glance and enjoy this workshop while sharing a few ideas on how to keep on dealing with this new experience and increase engagement by adding a human element. So with a big round of applause, we are going to receive Katia. By the way, before we receive Katia, I'm gonna just send you the link for the questions so that if you have any doubt or anything that needs to be clarified, our speaker is going to answer when she finishes her presentation. So please, Katia, they are all yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jesus. It's my pleasure to be here. All right. So I'm just to read so many of names that I know, really good friends too. So welcome. And I think that it needs to be to give a big applause for all of you because it's a Saturday afternoon. We are almost. I mean, we're about to finish the year too. So I think that it's just our pleasure to be here with all of you. All right, so thank you. First of all, I'm just going to ask you to turn your cameras on for a little while just to see that you are behind the camera and you are not just connected, but not, I mean, not over there. All right, thank you. Okay, so awesome. You see, so hello, awesome. That's great. So hi, everybody. Hello, how are you? Yes. Hi. Hi. So you see, it's the same at school, right? I think it's same at school and in our classes when we have just to ask our students, please turn your camera on, right? Does it happen to you all? Okay, so let's start with it, all right? So I know that the time is going to be quite short, but as I said to you, the idea is just to share a few ideas, all right? So that we can work with. Thank you and welcome back once again. And thank you very much, Jesus, for the introduction. Okay, all right. So let's see. What about a few online teaching tips that we are going to work on here? But first of all, let me wear my glasses because in November it is necessary for me to wear them. If not, I can't see. So let's see. First of all, I have the biggest question ever, I think, for all teachers. What do we prefer? Traditional or virtual education? Can you please just type it in the chat box so that I can read you? Hello, all right, so come on. A melting pot, okay, so come on, what about that? Traditional or virtual classes? Okay, so you're saying hello to me, but come on, you're not answering my question. Let's see. What is it better for you? Traditional or virtual education? What do we prefer? Traditional. We miss meeting our students. Traditional, right? A mixture of both. All right. Yeah. Yes, obviously that now that we are at home, we say we want to go back, right? as soon as possible. But I don't know if you, but I have been told that in the case of my school, I will start classes in July, next July. So I think that we need to feel more comfortable with our houses, right? We need to feel more comfortable because we're going to spend quite a long time here. Both. Excellent. And thank you very much for saying it, because I think that we need just to find advantages and disadvantages, but more advantages when we're dealing with this situation. Obviously, that is not that easy for us, right? Everything has changed from one day to another, and we have just to adapt everything. All right, starting probably with our houses, all right, because it's not just one person working sometimes at home, but just many doing some home office, all right, and also just dealing with the noise and dealing with your neighbors. It's just quite hard sometimes, right? Apart from the internet connectivity, it depends on the students. Good point. Let's see. What about this? I think that one of the advantages is that we have learned on how to deal with a lot of apps. Can you please type it in the chat box? Which are your favorite apps? Which are the ones that you are using the most? Can you just type them in the chat box? Schoology, Thank you, Jesus. Kahoot, Zoom. Come on, Kahoot and Padlet. Yes. Clazoyo, Zoom, Google Meet. Padlet, Kahoot, Zoom. Okay, all right, great. Okay, so lots, right? Quizzes also. So probably, let's remind that the pandemic hadn't started. Probably we had no idea how to use them, or yes, but not as much as we do now, right? So now I think that we can just mention, I don't know, what's quite slow. Let's see. Oops. So you see, Kahoot, as you mentioned, right? Nearpod, okay. Potung, I can tell you that I have learned a lot from my students too. Padlet, all right. So Jamboard also, Google Classroom. I'm just going to mention just a few of them. Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, okay, Zoom that we're using right now, Canvas also, Creatly, and Mentimeter, among others, right? I'm not going to ask what your favorite is, because I think that all of them have just something good, and we are still learning. I can tell you that I am still learning, because sometimes it's like some colleagues or some of our students say, "Oh, Miss, I am just using Poto. So have you ever tried?" And you say, "Oh my gosh, no, I've never tried it." Okay, so it is necessary for us just to even have a look at it. All right, so what about this question? Can we live without technology? And my answer is chimpum pan tortillas. Papas, Katia, what are you saying, right? So let's see. Just give me a second. I'm just going to copy a link here in the chat box. Oh, okay, so as I told you, technology is not so good with me today. So let me see. I'm just going to copy this link here, okay? And I want you to browse the web in there. All right, just browse the web in there, please. What does technology mean for you all? Can you just type as much as possible me? So all your ideas, for me, it's driving me crazy. It's just one of the ideas. Remember that we're using Padlet now. So here you can add all the ideas that you've got. Can you have the access to this link, please? Yes? Thank you, Judith. All right, so okay, Maria Judith, thank you. What does technology mean for you nowadays? Let's start writing our ideas in this Padlet, please, all right? It's difficult, thank you. What else? What else can you say? It was difficult, probably. Aha, come on, come on, come on. But everybody, you just need to have lots of ideas here that we can share, right? It was difficult at the beginning. Aha, thank you. A way to keep in touch with my students. Great. Mm-hmm. What else? What else? Come on. A high opportunity to achieve the goals of our lessons. Awesome. A continued challenge. Very good. Super. All right, so I have to learn how to use it. Yeah, great, 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 awesome. Okay, so as you can see, this is a very good way that we can have if we need to know who's participating and who's not. So we can use Padlets also just to see what the progress of our students is, right? As you can see, we can just set you can set the names or not the names. It can be anonymous or you can also have the names here, right? But it depends on what your main goal is. So you're fascinated about technology. Okay, amazing, amazing. So I know that you do have lots of ideas here. And as you can see, we can use technology, even if at the beginning it was quite hard, all right? For us, I think that it was really, really hard because from one day to another, you have just to learn lots and lots of applications, and technology had to be our friend even if we didn't want to. Yes? So, as you can see here, technology it's important in our lives, all right? So probably in the past we were told that okay, that the new babies were born with technology as a chip inside, right? But in our case, it is necessary for us just to work with it. Okay, it's a very interesting tool. But do you remember or has it happened to you? Just look at this picture. I mean, it says behind the camera. Have you ever felt like this fortune teller? Has it happened to you? Just type it in the chat box, please, okay? Have you ever felt like this girl? Well, I mean, like this lady. Yes, no, just type it in the chat box, please. Yes, no, never. Okay, never. Oh, lucky you. No, sometimes. All right. Come on, everybody, just write yes, no, sometimes. Sometimes, yes. It happens sometimes when we are, I mean, in nowadays in our virtual classes, and you have to ask the biggest question. Pepito, are you there? Because probably the camera is off. All right, because they say that it is due to technical problems, so this is due to connectivity issues, right? So sometimes we just feel like that. Most of the times, never. Okay, you know that sometimes I ask my students, okay, do you think that I am a fortune teller because I am a teacher? But I've never tried just to become a fortune teller. So I'm just trying to see. Hello, Marianita. Are you there? If you are there, great. Yes. Sometimes it happens, right? Sometimes it happens that, I mean, we have, yeah, in our virtual classes for sure, right? So, what do we have to do when we have to deal with this situation? How can we deal with this situation easily? Do you have any ideas that you can type it in the chat box, please? Yes, like a we has action too. Mhm. We have to say, oh, come on. If you are there, write your answer, right? If you're using Zoom, obviously that we can use the reactions. Yep. But if not, change the activity. Okay, okay. You know what I've learned these days is that we have to set rules, and the rules have to be clear. All right. The rules in my school that have been sent to parents also are that they need to have their cameras on during the whole session. And we have just a very long session because we start at 8 a.m. and we finish at 3:30. Okay, obviously that we have just 1 hour for lunch included, right? Setting the rules is always important here. Okay, and let me read what is it here. Play a game. Rosita, are you there or are you cooking? Yes, okay, good, good. So when you ask that question, Rosita, are you there or are you cooking? It's just because you're asking for participation, right? Because in this case, Rosita is going to say, no, miss, I'm not cooking, I'm here. Or if Rosita is cooking or eating in the kitchen, she's going to say nothing, all right? Sometimes it happens to us. So it is necessary just to know and to confirm that our students are behind the camera, right? So sometimes it can be quite challenging for us because apart from dealing with technology, with virtual lessons that we have to prepare totally different, our onset, I think that we need to consider how to just get our students engaged, all right, and how to let them participate during the whole class so that we can know that they are behind the camera. You know that the other day I had the chance to talk to one mom, with a mother of one of my students who is who's also a teacher, all right? And she said, okay, you know what happens? Once, only once, probably in August, she saw that her lady was too quiet. So she opened the door and she saw her. Okay, she saw her, just that she was connected, but she was in bed. So she was connected. The teacher thought that the student was there, but the student was sleeping. Obviously, that as a teacher you can understand that she said, oh, okay, in this moment you have just to be there in front of the computer in your classroom. Okay, so sometimes I think that is quite difficult, more difficult, just to keep them engaged, because not it's not only the class that can be boring or not interesting for them, but it's just because of that position, just being in front of the computer the whole day during 8 months. Yes, all right. I don't know, but just tell me, do you like being sitting in front of your computer the whole day? Just write yes or no. Yeah, it happens to me too. Secondary students online turning them on. It's tiring. It's impossible. Yes, yes, yes. Let's have a catharsis time. No, okay. Yes, oh really? Okay, no, okay. You're really tired. Okay, I don't know if you, but I am counting 3 more weeks. 3 more weeks, and we will be done. Are you counting them? Because I am. It's boring. Yes, boring, tiring, but is the situation that we have just to face nowadays, right? We have to say that thanks God. Thanks God. That's what I always tell my students. We are still alive, okay? Not everybody has achieved to do it, unfortunately, right? So even if we don't like it, students and teachers, because we are kind of fed up also with this situation, is the thing that we just need to approach our students. So it is necessary to just to be connected with them the whole time. Just even writing some questions like, "Do you like English? Yes or no?" Every 2 minutes, so that we can start reading their answers in the chat box. All right. Sometimes they can be silly questions, probably not connected to the class, or just as you mentioned. Okay, just to have a joke or a game or something different, that just to change their mood and just to activate it so that they can start writing in the chat box. Yes, no, or you know what I do? Okay, in this moment, everybody please just write something positive in the chat box. Okay, I want to read something positive in the chat box, please. Come on, come on, come on, something positive. Because if you don't write it, it's because you are God. Okay, you are in the kitchen, you are cooking, or you are sleeping. Ah, come on, come on. Nobody else. So, oh my gosh, I am alone here. So, Miss Fernanda. You are the only one. Okay, go ahead. Very good, very good. So, Luisa, Carla, okay, great, Gisela. Have a nice afternoon. Excellent. Okay, come on. What else? What else? What else? Something positive. It's nice learning. Thank you. What else? What else? What else? Come on. Everybody just saying something. We can do it. Yeah, that's the attitude. Great. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Come on. Something positive. I got it. It's Saturday. Yes, but come on. Something positive. Let's learn. Okay, go ahead. Very good. So you see, so even if I am asking you for a very few things, I know you that you are behind the camera. I mean, some of you, all right, some of you are there. I don't know if the rest are just having lunch, cooking, or probably you decided to go shopping. So no idea. We can do it. It's a pleasure to be here. Oh, that's so kind. Do not give up, darling. Great. Excellent. Very good. So let's continue. Okay. And awesome. As I said to you, this is what I usually do with my students. I ask for their participation because, as you mentioned there, the rules can be set. But if the students don't want to turn their cameras on, they won't do it unless we ask them just for their participation. In the case of primary students, they are, Miss, I am here. But in the case of the secondary students, it's like, oh, come on, that teacher is pesa, right? Okay, thank you very much. All right, so let's just continue. What can you see here? Wait, Katya, we were talking about cooking. Come on, what can you see here, please? Come on, a tiger, a tiger. All right, very good. Come on, what can you tell? Rawr, okay, awesome, awesome. Okay, a tiger, a kitty cat. Okay, great done. A precious animal. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so yeah, I can also see a tiger. Yes. And what comes to my mind in that moment? Jungle. I can also think of stripes. I can also think of grasslands. Okay. So a tiger, all right, the savage animal, a precious animal. Great, great, great. And just give me a second because technology sometimes doesn't let us be. Okay, let me just move along here and I'm just going to copy this here in the chat box, please. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Let's stop sharing. And just, I want you to join this link, please. Okay, are we ready? Yes, obviously, yes. Come on. Yes, are you in? Are you in? Just no, no, yes. Yes, awesome. Okay, awesome. All right, so come on. Just if you can't, I mean, you have the code here, all right? Let's just Mentimeter. Okay, it says here, tigers and wild animals. Very good, very good. So remember that we are still learning, so go ahead, all right? Go ahead. So I can only see 3 people here, so I just need to have more than 20. Come on, come on, come on. Just write 2 words. Once that you are in, write 2 words connected to tigers and wild animals, please. Okay? Yeah. Go ahead, go ahead. Yes, I think that when we were listening to Guns N' Roses and to that music at the beginning, it's like, okay, I was just saying to Jesus that I was dancing. I don't know if you, but go ahead. Okay, so come on, come on, come on. Let's just start with it, okay? So let's start with it. So just type as many words as possible connected to it, please. All right, so go ahead, go ahead. Ready? Yes, no. Come on, come on, come on. Are you typing your answers in the chat box? Just type them in the Mentimeter, okay? Go ahead, go ahead. Yes, I was dancing. Okay, so come on, let's see. I don't know if it's hot, but It is. Come on, go ahead, go ahead. So let's use this code and type your answers, please. Ready. Ready. Done. Okay, so here we go. To see how many of your answers can be read in this moment. Come on, come on, come on. I don't know why I can't. I can open it, so but go ahead, all right? So, Mentimeter, where are you? Yes, as much as possible, please. Okay, so let's see if I can now see, skip questions, see voting results. Here we go. Oh, come on, computer, what's going on with you? Done. Okay, so just let me see the results. I'm looking for them. I don't know why I can't find them. I think that there are too many. Okay, so tigers disappear, but that's a problem. That's a problem. No problem. Just give me a second. Okay. So what happens when it happened to us in the middle of a class? What do we do? Cry? No, right? We just okay. So I don't know why I can see the messages. The ideas. Okay, here we are. Yes, I knew that it had happened there, over there. So you see, awesome, enormous, hungry, strong, beautiful, and dangerous animals, stripes, dangerous, nature, protect them. Fierce, hunt, lion, savage, tiger. Okay, awesome. But not 20 of you have participated. I saw only 10 of you, huh? Uh-huh. So as you can see, this is another form that we can have our students activate, right? So that we can ask them for participation. Okay, I know that the time is very short, so I have just to move ahead just very quickly. But as you can see here, you will have another tool, Mentimeter also. So what happens if they don't manage the will with a lot of vocabulary? So we can ask them just to work with words, right? Like this. Okay, so like this. And this is a very, very nice exercise that we can work with. Okay, so just let me see. I will keep on sharing. Cry is an option. Yes, yes. Sometimes crying is an option, but we can't. Remember that you said that we are strong teachers, even if we are dealing with this. All right. So Young stripes, grassland 4, and they can use. And apart from that, it can be used just as a brainstorming previous to the class, so that you know what kind of vocabulary your students know. Or you can also do it as a wrap up, as a consolidation too, right? What about if I want to go on further research, just talking about tigers, for instance? I can use a web quest. I can use some comprehension exercises. I can use Kahoot. Yes, remember, all of them, or all of these activities have been planned just to be worked in a normal classroom, in a traditional classroom, or just in a virtual one. What about a web quest? I do have here an example that I'm going to share with you so that we can have just some idea on what we're talking about, okay? So comprehension, we will have some listening too, and at Kahoot, we will have also here some games. Let me share it with you so that we can see exactly what we are talking about. Give me a second. Don't cry, okay? Let's not cry, but let me share it with you. Okay, here we go. Look at this web quest. This is an example on what a web quest could be. All right, so let me share this with you here. Beeping. Okay, have a look at it. So this web quest has not been created by me, but I found it. What I wanted to show it here is that, as you can see, you can just browse the web and find lots and lots of these kind of extra activities, right? So for example, here you will have some questions, right? As soon as you continue just showing and just clicking on the pictures, they will be asking you on how to do every activity. You will have some questions, but these questions are not in a book or in an atlas that probably would use when we were kids, right? So, but here you will have some resources, probably some links where students have just to go for further research. They will have to read, they will have just to discover. These activities can be worked in groups, or it can also be worked, as an individual or in pairs. It depends on us as teachers, right? Okay, so what about also the comprehension? I don't know if you can see it here, but what about the comprehension? Okay. I will also copy the link so that you will have access to all of them. At the end, I can send you all the links all together too, but just if you want to save them before, here we are. Okay. So what about this? Look, a Bengal tiger, amazing animal, right? Look at it. Okay, oh, it's in silent.
Beauty, power, and the importance of conservation. Tigers have evolved into 6 subspecies. The tiger's tale of evolution can be traced back to about 2 million years ago, when the earliest known tiger ancestor left Africa and ventured into Asia. Over time, the big cat split into 9 subspecies.
Okay, so let's see. As I told you at the beginning, it's impossible for me just to follow all of this in only one session because of the time. But as you can see, you have here these kind of activities. You can just use a web quest, some comprehension that they are for free. Then we have a Kahoot that we can play if you want to try it, because it has only 2 questions. Okay, so I had to do these activities very quickly just because of the time, as I told you. So let's see if you are there. Okay, I want to see that you are there. Are you? Yoo-hoo. Okay, so the classic version is now loading. Tigers. Come on, are you ready to join? Are you ready? Okay, I know, Katia, you're driving us crazy, but come on. I don't know if you like the music or not. This is the code that we have just to play Kahoot. Waiting for players still. Good, Catherine. Come on. You can start dancing too. It's not Guns N' Roses, but... Oh, Catherine, you're the winner, I think. Don't be shy. Good, Andrea. Olmara, take notes of who's participating and who's not, huh? Okay. Come on. Remember that you can also play with the volume. You have no volume. Some people like this music, some other ones no. Pepito has joined. That's Pepito. Pepito, are you there? Okay, Pepito is here. Good. Okay, so very good, Vero. Great done. So let's see. Okay, let's have just these. Let's start. Tigers, come on, just to see. 3, 2, 1. Tigers are, who's the fastest? Tin, 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 tin. Mammals, marsupials, insects, or cute? Come on, 3 answers. All right, so good. The 4 of you did it correctly. Awesome. What about the next one? Oh, Catherine was first. So remember, this game just is the fastest, okay? And the second and last question, it's a true or false. All tigers are native to Asia. What do you think? True or false? So I'm just showing you two forms, two types of questions here, okay? So three answers. What about the fourth answer? Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, 2, 1. Pooh. True. Okay, yes. Okay, so next, and remember that here we will have the podium, right? So Pepita got the third place. The second place is for Andrea, and the first place for Gathering. Okay, for Gathering. So, okay, awesome. So as you can see, let me just silence this. Okay, as you can see, this is just another way that we have just to get our students engaged. We are playing, but at the same time we are learning. Okay, that is the idea. Remember that we can be playing, but at the same time learning. Oh, well, don't worry, Carla. I'm just going to share all the links with you. Don't worry, don't worry. We will have more. I know that I have just to go far very, very quickly because of the time, as I told you, right? But let's see. What about this? What's your opinion about it? Beep, 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 beep. And I am not the Chavo del Ocho, okay? Beep, 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 beep. What about this one? Presentation, practice, and production. What do you think about it? Why do you think that I have just three different circles and the three of them have different sizes? Why do you think it happens? Probably because of the space? Yes, it can be one reason. But what do you think about it? Type your ideas in the chat box, please. Go ahead. Go ahead. Don't be timid. Okay? Okay. Student center. Okay, great. Beep, 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 beep. Very good. So Luisa Fernanda will receive an extra prize, Olmara, eh? Traditional way to follow a class. Aha. Okay, good, good. But do you consider it important? Is it important that our presentation need to be a little bit shorter? A student must produce all the time. Yeah, yeah. Even if we are just dealing with virtual classes, for sure. Yes. So that is the idea that our words, the teacher talking time, just be reduced, need to be reduced, right? Practice is just a matter for, I mean, for letting them just use the language. For that production, it doesn't mean that we just need to follow certain rules, but just ask them just to talk. I don't know if you, but I sometimes ask my students to record videos or to record audios, and they just work very, very good with it, okay? The students must produce the whole time, and this is the order. That's why the size of the circles, right? This is why it is important. Let's see. What about this? What about the next activity? It says here, okay, let me read the chat box here, is the amount of time during a lesson. The most production students do, the best way to check they are learning. Yeah, yes, it's not a straight jacket. Uh-huh, yeah, yes, we're going to deal with it too. Good, good, good. So what about this beautiful animal too? What about this beautiful animal too? Here you can see, yes, reading. Awesome. Okay. Is it possible, everybody, I want all your answers in the chat box, please. Is it possible to work on reading during virtual lessons? Just no. It means that we have just to send everything a wild bear. Yes, 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 yes. Of course, yes, yes. Okay, you are back. Very good, very good. Okay, so no more cooking time. Awesome. To vary the class. Yes, awesome. Great, done. Very good. Excellent. Okay, so, but let's see. I don't know why my presentation is open twice, but here we go. just showing you another tool. Okay, I'm going to show you another tool. The question was, any other activities? Any other activities? It's harder to give opportunities for sure. Please, can you click on the link that I've just provided in the chat box? Can you please click on it? Okay, can you click on it? All right. Okay, here, what do we have to do? It says here, extra activities. Which other activities can we work with our students? So what about the ideas that you do have? Can you mention them? Remember that we can use sticky notes here. Okay, let me share it with you too. Sticky notes, and you can share all the ideas that you have. I can share it. Why not? You. Let's see. I mean, did you have access to the link? Yes, no. Let me see what happened. My Zoom is live. Yes, awesome. Okay. So come on, just type your ideas there, please. Okay, just type your ideas there. Share. Which other activities can we work with our students talking about that beautiful wild bird? Oh, yes, I have some people here. All right, so go ahead. Just take one sticky note and just say, which other activities can I do by using that piece of text? Okay, apart from reading it out loud, yes, apart from that, what other activities can I do? Can you please keep on typing your answers? Okay, I want to read the chat box. I know that there is a message, but I can't. No, don't you have access? Why not, Renee? Okay, probably, I'm sorry. Probably I mean, I can have some people join. I think that you can. No? Okay, no problem. Thank you very much. No problem. Yes. Okay, but you know how it works. Yes, I should take a little bit of time just to do the setting again. So rename, update, in fact. Okay. So let's see. We're not going to continue with it, but this is a very common Jamboard. I'm sorry, probably it was just a setting that I had. Yes, it's just because I was using three emails, one from school, and if it's from school, probably is the one that you can't use because of the permission and the security ones. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so let's see if I can just make a copy, update. It will take half a short time, so just give me a second. Share young, create, change. I'm gonna change the settings. Tiki 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 tiki. Okay, no, I can't in this moment. All right, so I'm so sorry. Well, but the thing is, oh, thank you very much. Okay, the thing is that in this type of activities, if I ask an open question like, okay, which other activities you can work, okay, you can work on with, I mean, by using a text. Okay, I'm sorry that we couldn't use the Jamboard, but is it possible for you to type your ideas in the chat box, please? Which other activities can we work on by using this piece of text? Okay, thank you. I know that everybody wanted to use a Jamboard. Create a song about bears. Oh my gosh. Open questions, fill in the blanks according to the text. Great. Thank you. What else? Come on. What other things can I do? Yoo-hoo! Are you there? If you are there, write an activity. Write about your favorite wild animal. Excellent. Very good. A mind map. Debate about endangered species. Create an organizer. Awesome. Very good, very good, superb, okay? So as you can see, we can have lots and lots of things. Write about wild animals in Peru, great, done, very good. So I know that we do have plenty of ideas to work on it, posters about wild animals. Yes, that's why at the beginning, I just mentioned Canvas because the students are really good at using all of these different tools, right? Flyers, great, on how to take care of the animals too. Great done. Okay, and I don't know if you have realized, but here we do have also just one grammar issue, where consider, so we can start just teaching passive voice too, right? Obviously, organize our information about some young animals, passive voice, yes. So, and as you can see, it's a very short piece of text. Yes, it's a very one, but you can also compare bears and wolves here, for example, right? So let's see, contextualized grammar. Yes, and that is how we should work on it, right? Great done. So let's see if I can continue. Okay, you can also do individual or pair or group work by using that. By, for example, look at it. What is your favorite animal and why? Are there any animals that you refuse to have as a pet? Why do people keep animals as pets, right? Do you know any animals that are endangered species? Do you think that we should try to protect animals? Which is the most useful animal for humans? Okay, which is the least useful animal for humans? Oh my gosh, what are some typical animals in Peru? Do you think it's okay for people to keep animals like snakes as pets? How are animals treated in Peru? Okay, so in this case, they look like, I mean, open questions, right? Some cases they are open questions. But what about just asking them just to justify their answers too? Yes, let me read the chat box here. Travel book, excellent. Yeah, it's a very good idea. So they can just include lots of animals. For further discussion also, look, animals should be kept in cages. What do you think? Now that they are the breakout rooms, I don't know, in my school we use Meet, okay? So they are breakout rooms, Zoom too. There are different places where you can just ask your students to work in pairs, to work in groups, yes? What about this? Hunting should be legal, all right? Zoos entrance should be free, and we can have also here discussions, right? I do have here one link that I found. I'm gonna share it with you too. Okay, I found this link and I consider it really interesting. Okay, let me find it here. Okay, really interesting because you do have certain questions and topics for further discussion. Okay, for further discussion, here you are. Just if you want to have a look at it. Okay. So the idea is depending on the level of students you have, depending on the level of the English they have, right? The idea is just to work on different types of questions, but I am for critical thinking the whole time, critical thinking the whole time. That's why it's important just to consider two types of thinking here. Yes, those that just involve problem solving and decision making, where you can have new ideas, you can analyze, evaluate, and just make some reasons too. Do you remember which are the two types of thinking that we can consider in here? Can you just type them in the chat box? We have only 10 seconds because time flies, my gosh. I will go very fast, all right? So go ahead. I will just finish it very quickly. Come on. Which are the two types of thinking that we can mention here? Pepito, are you there? Carla, are you there? Franklin, are you there? Come on. Which are the ideas that you can have for which kind of thinking we are dealing with? Critical thinking. Thank you, Gisela. Critical thinking. Thank you, Andrea. Come on. Don't be lazy. Type it in the chat box. All right, so go ahead. Critical thinking is one. Decision making, okay, so let's see. And the first one is Critical thinking, very good. When we talk about critical thinking, we just have the opportunity for analyzing, evaluating, and reasoning. Also, just to find a solution to a problem and to make decisions, right? And what about the new ideas? What about the new ideas? What can you tell me about that? What can you tell me about the new ideas? Previous knowledge, yes, good, good, good. So it's really important with our students, right? Tick, 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 tick. Creative thinking. You mentioned in among the ideas that you just type in the chat box, you said probably just have create some flyers, some posters, but in these flyers and posters is not only just doing it for nothing, they are also using language, right? They are thinking on how to organize their ideas. Even if they are working with simple organizers, they are thinking about how to do it. So it's really important, because remember that we the whole time, even if we are working in virtual lessons, we are working on helping them to develop thinking strategies like classifying, when they do have to classify the vocabulary. Remember when you have the just ideas about the Mentimeter about tigers, you were classifying information, right? Predicting what comes after, yes, if you just read the text. Problem solving, what would you do if you were in this situation? Hypothesizing too. Yes, I'm sorry they have just to go, I mean, quite fast, but I think that we are just running out of time. Also, let me see. I don't know what happened with it. Here, study skills. We need to teach our students how to make charts and graphics. For me, and I think that for most of you, because you were just typing into the chat box, using organizers, mind maps, word maps is really, really helpful. Apart from brainstorming the ideas, we can know what their prior knowledge is and how they can just organize all of this. But obviously, it is necessary to understand how to read these charts and graphics, because if you see them, but you have no idea on how to use them, we're quite lost. Organizing their work too, yes? Okay, so let me see, let me read, okay, excellent, very good, creativity, good, 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 good. Okay, so what about the other one? Okay, so I know that in this moment, okay, yes, in this moment, Jesus has just posted a link for questions if you have just any, all right? While you are typing your questions in that link, I mean, I'm gonna show you a video, and I think that most of us will feel really identified with it, okay? Let's have a look at it.
Oh my, mute your mics, mute your mics. Hi guys, hi, so excited to see you, hi. Oh yeah, you have a dog, yeah, she's so cute. Oh, you have a dog. Well, don't be careful with your, wow, you have a cat. Oh, everyone has pets to show. Awesome. You have a lizard, you have a snake, nope, out. Jordan, do you want to try and maybe like turn your camera up so that I'm not looking up your nose? No. You don't. This is kind of like my office. You don't need to see the rest of my house. Oh, you don't have to ask if you can go to the bathroom. You can just go. It's your house. But wash your hands. No, don't bring your computer into the bathroom. I don't. No one needs to see that. No. All right. Happy Wednesday. It's Thursday. Wow. Sorry, the days are kind of blended together here. Yes, I do see you have your pajamas on today. Cool. Oh, you have pajamas on too. Yeah, they're SpongeBob. Ooh, yeah, rainbow unicorn pajamas. Wow, everyone's yelling what their pajamas are. All right, I have a huge announcement. I'm so excited to share. Oh, you can't? Okay. Well, my headphones are plugged in. You can't hear me, so. Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? All right. So everybody sees this right here. What we're gonna do is, oh, it's backwards? Okay, so let's try it like this. Is that better? So that assignment is gonna be on who. Your mom has a question? No. You don't need to take me to your mom. It's no. We're in the okay. Hi, Mrs. Clark. Yeah. Do you think that we could talk later? Guys, we're not. we're not taking our time to talk about Minecraft right now. No, I do not play Minecraft. So no, on the Minecraft, let's talk about it later. Let's focus. No to Pokemon too. We're not talking about Pokemon right now. Right. So I'm literally teaching a class right now. Oh my god. Hi guys, sorry about that. Yeah, no, this is my fancy office when everyone else is being so loud in my house. We're gonna talk about fractions during. Who is listening to Post Malone? So like, is that necessary? No. So just apply what we've been talking about for the last 30 minutes or so and put that work. Oh, you just logged in, so you didn't hear any of that lesson. Awesome. Okay, so I'll just go over that again. Yep. Wow, you guys are all talking at the same time. It's like we're actually in our classroom. I miss you guys.
Okay, so come on. What about the feeling that you experienced? Did you really feel identified with it? Yes.
Yeah,
Did you feel identified with this video? Yes, right. I think that for us, come on, 3 more weeks, and that is the idea. But I mean, just to come into an end, the first thing that I can tell you is that thanks God we are still alive. And we need to keep on a positive attitude. Yes, keep on having a positive attitude. Remember, the idea is that we will have just to think about our students, about ourselves. We are great teachers. This is a situation that nobody, I mean, expected to be like it is, right? I mean, at the beginning, we thought that it was probably going to be just 1 month, 2 months, but okay, it's been just 8 months here at home. Okay, so just remember, if we keep on having a positive attitude, that is what we're going to do. Honor the learner, prior knowledge-shaped curriculum. Let's feed curiosity too, just by using further discussion, further research. Remember, the idea is just to use experience through our classes, and most important, to eliminate fear too. Remember that our students are having just not a good time either. Yes, not a good time. And just to finish, all right, before the questions, I know, I mean, I can hear you all, but I know that you all will be reading it with me. It says, I wasn't born to just teach. I was born to inspire others, to change people, and to never give up, even when faced with challenges that seem impossible. At the beginning, probably, I mean, including me, right? I thought that, I mean, technology or this situation was going to be impossible. At the beginning, I thought about quitting also, but I said, Katia, come on, you're teacher, so nobody forced you, nobody asked you just to do it. So you decided to become a teacher because you wanted. A great big thank you and a big applause for all of you. You do have my email there. You do have my email just if you want just me to send you the presentation. All right, so let me just read your comments here. We can do it. We will survive. Yes. Okay, yeah, it's a very beautiful one. So let me see if we do have some questions here. Okay, let me see if we have some questions so that I can answer you. I mean, there are no questions. So, okay, I do have some. Let me see. What technology do you recommend for students? Okay, in fact, I think that technology depends on yes, I will. Give me a second, okay? So which do you recommend for students? In fact, I think that it depends on the school platform. Some schools are able to afford just renting, buying some platforms. So it depends on what your school is offering. In the case of my school, we're using Blink Learning through Meet. Okay, I know that some friends are using Zoom. I know that some friends use the platforms or the technology in general that their schools have provided. So it depends also on our connectivity and how good the connectivity is itself, right? It says, which other apps can we use to develop writing online? We do have lots. We do have lots. Okay, I promise that. I mean, I will just send you some. But believe it or not, the ones that I have just shown for a few seconds, unfortunately, okay, are really really useful if you want to ask them to type. Obviously, that it's worth it, even if we do have to correct it. All right. I know that there are some of them that are just contain a self corrector, but honestly, I like reading. I like reading my students' work. What's your advice about teaching pronunciation? Okay, in the case of teaching pronunciation, okay, so I consider that using real material, authentic material is the most important. As I could show you just with this video about tigers, okay, we do have a lot of these resources in the web. So it's just necessary for us just to keep on researching. And I think teachers never stop learning. And I mean, I'm gonna ask you just to clap you all with the reactions that we do have in Zoom. So to know that you are there first, and just because you deserve it. Thank you very much. I mean, oh, thank you very much. I mean, it's so nice to see this. Okay, I enjoy. All right, thank you very much. Okay, I enjoyed being here too. I know that the time is really really short the whole time. Okay, but I hope that it has been useful. I wish we can have just a time where we can share and help each other. Thanks a lot, and let's keep on thanking God because we are here. Okay? I am done, Jesus, on time.
Thank you very much, Katia, for such an inspiring and very informative presentation. And as you mentioned, we never thought that this situation would last so long, right? And
Or
still we don't know. We are
yeah,
clueless about how long it's going to last. And now as
yeah,
teachers, we have shown our resilient side, right? Just to adapt to the
yeah.
circumstances we have been put through. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Katia. Thank you.
No,
And
thanks
for
to
the
you.
ones who are, yeah, it looks like you had a face-to-face presentation that you are kind of hot, right?
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
for the audience, thank you very much. For the audience, I want to share a link. This is the link for the evaluation, right? It's just in the chat box. So please, you have to complete it. You have to just click on it and complete with the information requested. Thank you very much. So, right, without beating about the bushes, we have to continue with the next presentation. Thank you very much, Katia, again, for your time and for your ideas. Thank you. Now, the next person is Mr. Julio Cesar Abanto, another good friend of mine. Mr. Abanto has a master's in education, holds a University of Michigan and University of Cambridge certification in English, a training certificate by the Swan School of English, Oxford, language certificate in Oxford International, UK. The CEELT University of Cambridge trained Cambridge certificate, postgraduate courses in applied linguistics and TESOL, University of Leicester, UK. Diploma in Educational Management by Pontificia Universidad Católica del Perú. A diploma in ELT by Universidad de Piura. Diploma in Leadership and Management, Universidad Internacional de La Rioja, Mexico. Presented many teacher training workshops and seminars in different countries. Certified presenter and speaking examiner for Cambridge exams. He currently teaches IGCSE subjects and is the academic director in a registered Cambridge International School. The workshop he will be presenting today is entitled Meta-Language, Receptive Language and Class Instructions. Teachers do a lot of talking in classroom. They often get criticized for this because they are not giving pupils opportunities to talk. It is through our talk that the teaching gets done. But we need to consider first the purpose which teachers use to talk in the language classroom. In this workshop, we'll see the best ways of dealing with meta-language, receptive language, and class instructions. All right? So now, Julio Cesar, are you there? The audience is all yours. Your microphone, by the way, is muted. So let's welcome Julio Cesar with a big round of applause.
Yeah. Hello everyone. Can you listen to me? Yes. Ah,
Yes.
okay. Thank you very much for your kind presentation, Jesus. Uh, yes, we are very close friends. We used to work together in certain project for Cambridge University, and also the examining students around the country. Um, well, I delighted to be here because this is like the second part of our Katya's lovely presentation, because she dealt with the idea of using the apps and certain gadgets, tools inside the web in order to promote or try to conquer our students' willingness to study, right? Which is so far so crazy sometimes, because dealing with the long distance programs, sometimes it affects our learning, our also our attitude, and nowadays most teachers are burned out, which is complicated. All right, so today we'll talk about multi-language, receptive language, and class instructions. As you see, the two words familiar with, that is a meta-language, receptive language, right? And class instruction is like the ending product of these two before. Um, but before starting, I need to thank Olmara as well for the invitation, right? Thank you, David, letting me. I don't know why, but good. And so let's talk about now in general, right? Nowadays, it's been a little complicated to give this kind of talking in class. You can see the teacher here is giving a lesson, right? Using the iPhone or any kind of mobile tool. And even though when you need to explain a lot of things in class, we do a lot of talking in class, right? And of course, as the aspect said, sometimes we are criticized because some parents say, yes, the teacher talks, my daughter, my son doesn't. So we get criticized because they're given opportunities to talk. But what is the idea of giving opportunities to talk? What is that? So it's like sharing the microphone to everyone. So we'll see this today, right? And also we need to consider first, what is the purpose of this using this talking time in class? So I'm not trying to say about teachers talking time versus students talking time, which is the traditional spectrum of the face-to-face approach, even though it's being depth now in online situations, right? Because we have some barriers in front of us, that is the screen, and we don't know what is behind the screen, and if the students are awake or not. So in some schools, in some lessons, some teachers, the time of talking time has increased more than necessary, and not because the teacher needs to talk, it's because the teacher needs to fill the gaps, these silent moments. So because it's like in television and in radio, silence is critical. You cannot allow silence in television and radio because the audience, they may believe that something is wrong. Also in the online learning, silence is also critical, because you don't know if you're being heard, or the student got some problem with a computer, the mic, or maybe you don't know if the student didn't understand what you said. So, but it's through that talk that the teaching gets done. So we need to talk because our teaching gets done during the talk. So this is one of the purpose, right? Just in case. And then, so a way of talking is a way of managing the lesson, right? So we instruct pupils, we instruct the learners what to do. So how we control them, how we motivate them, and providing feedback as well. So, and also what is interesting, we provide language input for learning, right? So having, so if you bear in mind, it's like instructing pupils, controlling them, motivating, providing the feedback, and providing language input for learning. This is the major purposes of our talk in class. So when we use our talk, it has a profound impact on our learners, right? And but uh, going back to what Katya were using the apps in class, I believe you can use this everywhere. But it's not what we say that is important, right? It's how we say it. So you may talk a lot, but maybe nobody will listen to your nonsense speech. So that's what we say is what it seems important, what we say, but it's also how we say it. So I dare to link this idea with Cassius, right? It says, you may have a lot of apps in your computer, but if you know what to use it, but if you don't use properly, so you won't get to the point. So the result of the student's outcomes won't be what you're looking for. So what is interesting, it's not what you use, it's how you use it as well. So in terms of a speech, it's the same. So it's not what we say in class, it's also how we say, how we transmit the information and the language, right? Which is important in a student need to learn, right? And how they learn, right? So having into consideration the words what versus the how. And it's through our tone of voice and his facial expressions and we convey attitudes, get the message across. And basically, now, if you can compare your face-to-face lesson, what we call traditional lesson, right? And the online lesson, what they see is us, but they don't see our complete body unless we just open the camera, we just reach so far and we give a lesson standing up, right? So, but most of the time we are sitting on a chair, just controlling our laptop or a computer in front of us. And then we see like this, what you're seeing like myself, right? My half thigh, my elbows, my face, and just the top of my head. But some teachers, I need to say something happens to me in my class when I so concentrate. I believe that the camera is trying to eat me. So I approach this like this and talk to them. Yes. Again, are you listening to me? Are you listening to me? Can you listen to me? And I believe that if I approach the computer more, the student will listen to me further. But it tends to be with a facial contact, right? And the tone of voice. And they see us, we are happy, we are sad, we are moody sometimes. So technically we express, we can communicate using this. And I need to share this from a book that is from Macmillan teaching English to children. And it's that we use the talk for many purposes around the class, right? Of course, it's a traditional lesson, and but we use the talk in different ways according to what we need and so on. And technically, we believe that this is the language we use, but there is always a but in teaching. This is what I do remember my lessons in Leicester University says there is always a but in teaching. So the teacher's language, which is we call receptive language, what we speak to our students is a receptive language, right? So it depends on what we say, what we're trying to get, right? So we may say that this try is too simple, right? It's receptive language is a simple language and support what we say with the actions or gestures. We give clues like this. But also in class, we have two types of languages, right? This is a receptive language and the content language, right? So I maybe you know this so far, but let's remind this a little, right? It says, and receptive language is what we say, so the word we choose to be understood, while the content language is that the language we are going to teach them. So let me say, we're going to teach them adjective and nouns at the in a primary level. I would say that the list of nouns and verbs, or sorry, the nouns and adjectives, they're going to be the content language. It's the language you need to learn by that. But in order to send information to our learners, we need a vehicle, and this vehicle is called receptive language. So it's not the same to have a Volkswagen and to use Audi level or a Mercedes Benz, right? Because you are comfortable, maybe the vehicle you consider it's good for you, the better vehicle you have, the better way you may feel, right? So technically, so the role of the teaching the receptive language is so crucial, right? Because the students may understand content language, but they do not understand the receptive language. So the content language will say goodbye to your lesson. So some students, they need to have this receptive language so clear, so in order to understand the content language. So if the content language is so easier, it's supposed that receptive language has done its, well, its goal. So it's to be the vehicle of the content language to reach the students' understanding. So in a basic level, right? In a basic level, so we start saying in a basic level number 1 day of class, and he says, hello, so let me introduce myself. I am glad to be here. So in this couple of days, I'm going to be your teacher. So please, my name is Julio Cesar. So most of the learners in basic level 1 with no English at all, they will start saying, I just understood Julio Cesar, right? Maybe it's his name, I don't know. So my restricted language was not the correct one because I didn't pace my level according to that content I need. So if the student need to understand my name, I need to go directly to this, hello, my name is Julio Cesar, your teacher, right? So some teachers, because through observations, it says they try not to use content receptive language so low, what they say, because they need to show, they say, they need to demonstrate the level of English they have, which is wrong because you don't need to prove anything to your learners how much English you know, right? Because some teachers, they increase their level, their talk, and then start decreasing the level. What is the opposite in that regular lesson? So you need to go with them side to side and little by little increase your level so they will follow up you. So technically, this is what we consider. So that receptive language go with the content language so the students will understand. Now, this is true. Sometimes we say, okay, yeah, but teacher, but I need to use my language what I know. Yes, of course, but teaching is not a proof how much language you know. We have to have this here, right? So the more you know, it doesn't mean the better teacher you are, right? Because some people get a proficiency certificate or the advanced, whatever they have, or have a master's degree, whatever. It doesn't mean you're a right teacher for that level, right? So that the more diplomas you have, it doesn't mean you are the better teacher for that group of students, because if you don't know how to pace your level, adapt your level to the group, it means we fail our purpose. And this is what we consider the receptive language versus the content language. So, and it comes here the idea of the meta language. So meta language, what you say is the language teachers use, right? But it's not the receptive language, right? The receptive language is expression like this. For example, listen to me. Okay, today we're going to work with your workbooks. Open your workbooks, page 21. Today we want to focus on writing, etc., etc. So that is the receptive language. Open your workbook, listen to me, point to like this. So you send a message you didn't understand. So meta language is something that we use, we insert in our receptive language, right? But we talk about language learning like this. So technically we talk about language itself. So let's see. For example, let's say some phrases of words we use like verbs, nouns. So words that like saying, okay, today we're going to talk about present perfect continuous. So the phrase present perfect continuous, that's meta language. Okay, today we're going to learn some phrasal verbs with up. So phrasal verb is meta language, right? So today we're going to practice a report speech. So report speech, that two word is meta language. And all of them like this, right, are common classroom meta language, right? It's very common like this. Of course, we use this daily, like, okay, students, open up your books. We're going to circle, we're going to match adjective versus nouns. So adjective and nouns are meta language, but it's a language that must be learned, right? And open up your books is a receptive language, right? So it's a mixture of combination, like this linguistically talking. But I may say technically that meta-language has also a strong version in teaching, right? Why? Because in classrooms, certain materials, right, learners know in extent learn of certain language and times. So they know certain words, for example, adjectives, verbs, sometimes they know like articles, I don't know, other meta language words. But it happens, and it's been proved that sometimes when you teach primary level, some meta language in English, so the students don't know or don't understand Spanish at all, or other languages. So sometimes you may ask a learner, do they want to talk about articles? And you say, okay, what is an article? And you give them examples, is the house, or the elevators, or the lion. I need to understand, okay, that's el, la, lo, okay, that is right. Article is, yeah. So, and the students is articulo, yes, okay. But the students say, teacher, but what is articulo? I don't know what is articulo. It's the first time I've listened to that word. So the statistics says that sometimes some students do not know or remember what the meta language is in their first language, and it's been introduced as a second language, right? So it happens a lot. So the teacher needs to maybe to recall the information. So the student need to understand in the first language and then to acquire the second language, or maybe the opposite, that the student knows in the meta language, that's L2, and now he has an idea how to elaborate and reasoning, and finally he ends up understanding the meta language in L1, right? But it's interesting, right? What is interesting, so it depends on different factors. Some students like English more than Spanish or communication, and they learn more in English words that they can use in Spanish, right? In terms of meta language, right? And so we may say as well that the using meta language is an sorry. So using meta language is an easy way for teachers, because we use meta language at all. It's like, okay, so we have to circle the phrasal verbs, the past perfect continuous, etc., etc. But in certain levels, it's not a good idea for some learners, right, to go directly to this. For example, imagine, let's go back to the basic level. If you taught basic one in an institute and language school, uh, you may have, like, say, imagine your teacher, first day of lesson, it says, hello, my name is Julio Cesar, and today we're going to learn WH words, a question word, and then we're going to add the verb to be, and then a possessive, and then we're going to add a noun, and then we're going to use the question mark at the end, right? So this is our today's lesson. So you see, what is he talking about? This was a question W, question what? So technically that's the description of what's your name. So you are not going to be insane to get into a lesson and just explain linguistically what was your name elaborated is. You go directly to that. Today, you write the question on the board, what's your name? And the answer is my name is, and we start giving them the lesson, and we just send them to working person. So Eva, we are not going to express what technically those words are in the framework of language, right? So, but also, and some teachers, they have this problem because they insist on using meta language. So they want their learner to memorize the meta language and the use of it. I observe some lessons, and they're saying that the teacher says, okay, do they want to talk about past tense? And they write on the board past tense. And they says, okay, past tense, and the teacher writes. So we use past tense to talk about past habits like this. So and ask the students to write down the definition of this, no past tense, let's call it that way. And then it says, okay, student, now we're going to repeat after me, right? We use past tense to talk about. So on the students listen, and the next time it says the teacher asks, okay, Pedro, please tell me what is past tense. And the presents, we use past tense to talk about like this. So So some teachers even they ask the learners to know what we use past tense. And my question is, in the final exam or in a practice or in a quiz, the question number one is, when do we use past tense? No way. So most of the question is, okay, complete a tense, we complete a sentences with the correct order of the verb, or match the half sentences with the other one. So technically, we do not ask the students to answer back what the tense is about. So it's a waste of time to reinforce the meta language when it's not needed, and say what is not needed. So technically, children, they don't need to know about meta language, right? Especially when they are just start learning the process. And so now let's suppose that we talk about secondary learners, and you say, okay, students, today we want to talk about copular verbs. And so you start asking, copular verbs? What is that? I never heard about that. Oh yes, we have copular verbs. We use copular like linkers like this. And she says, for example, the copular verb is the verb to be. So linguistically, that is right. The copular verb is the verb to be. Yeah, excuse me. Right. So copular verb is the verb to be. And what is that? That if you use a linguistic book, this is the copular verb is the verb to be, because you use like link, like lie, like seemed. So, but it's a nobody in his mind will start analyzing copular verbs in secondary and telling them in like this second year, right? We use, for example, like, okay, students, today we want to learn she, he, the personal pronoun, plus the copular verb, plus the present participle of the verb, and this is our lesson. And she says, okay, a copular verb, what is that? But teacher, what is present participle? And you start writing, like, go when we got ing, teach when we got ing, teaching, going, dancing. I never seen a book, a material introducing for the first time, we use present continuous, the verb to be plus present participle, right? Which is crazy to understand if this is present participle. Now, in advanced level, maybe you may understand what present participle is. And I've consulted some lexicographers why they do this. And it says, because meta language is not right for that moment. So, because it may confuse, because you add this to the present participle, then students are going to use gerunds, and then going to use, all right. So with a transformation, I like playing tennis. So it says the student will say, like the verb, so playing is a present participle. What is wrong? Because it's the transformation, because of the like verb. So it will be like a spider web in the student's mind. They will get confused so far they are. And that is why some meta language being postponed, their real names, not at the end of the learning process of grammar. So we need to go and use this. So that's the idea of some meta language are not being used technically these ways. And of course, I was saying in the advanced levels, we need to talk about meta language right now, because they understand, because it's the right level. So now, okay, that they compare. Once I start talking about this in my students in advanced level, and it says, oh, teacher, it means that my basic teacher, my intermediate teachers, that they do not nothing, because they never mentioned that. And I said, no, that is not right. And that is not fair as well, because so there are certain moments on the learning process you need to learn certain things, and maybe we kept in secret this because you may not able to understand that is the right way. That is true. It's like if you, we're not going to teach you like the first conditional and then the third so there is a process of learning like this, right? So so that is the idea of meta language, and some teachers need to understand, right? What is interesting to analyze technically depends on the level, right? And of course, when you are a coordinator, you observe a teacher using that not the raw meta language, but the right time to use meta language, you need to tell them that the reason that the students are not able to understand this because not the right moment, right? So so remember, English like building blocks. A block must be tied and must be well established. I need to add the other block in order to get something right. If not, you're going to, yeah, to fall down, right? So we have covered meta language and receptive language and we will say the content language, and you see there is a combination of them, right? So now we're going to use this in class instructions. Excuse me, right? So we're going to use in class instructions, right? So class instructions, you may say, right, by class instruction right now we were in online. So I've been talking to some teachers. Is right now class instruction they need more reinforcement, right? Because the idea of using this like internal online situation, our class instruction has suffered certain movement. So the platform is not the same, right? So we need to just to cover the floor the right way. So let's see. Once again, the voice and your body language will have a strong version, right? So again, so it's a fundamental lesson of an idea in the classroom language, right? And the message you send to your voice, it's technically right. I do remember this. My previous talk, I didn't use this, and I thought they need to that they listen to me, but some of the attendees they said, "I'm sorry, I couldn't listen to you." So, and my friend said to me, "Please, why don't you use this type of microphones from your mobile?" And that's why I'm using this right now, because sometimes it says you need to shout because we are listening to you, right? So you need us to increase your voice, or it's different by shouting, because shouting is like yeah, you're getting desperate to communicate. So technically speaking, the students also they listen to us in a way. And remember, the students have something that is valuable. They got a volume, and some teachers they didn't notice this. They have something that is the volume. They can increase or reduce the volume. So and they believe you're shouting. They just reduce this. But it's interesting. They can listen to you. They can increase the volume. But also we have certain conditions there, right? So So we say that, right? It's one of the requirements of good teaching is good voice projection. Yeah, voice projection is nice, but in a regular lesson, we have the lesson, the classroom, and we have to project the voice. And in an online, it's like we don't need to have a loud, booming voice, but you need to be hard with the students in the room. But in this case, if an online situation, we need to also to adapt our voice because if we don't need to shout, we need to be emphatic, like stressing some words and other words, right? Good. Um, then we have these questions, right, that I've received. It says, should you slow down your normal rate of delivery? So for low lessons, I believe yes, right? But just slightly, right? Not to be like dictating, like saying I don't understand, or just like a robot, or this kind of a voice. That in some apps, you ask some apps to read that readings. They have like a robot reading. We need to have this silly, that silly sounds. But so we need to keep as natural a flow, right, to your language as possible, right? So natural speed and just putting emphasis on certain words and what you consider is necessary, right? And articulation is also more key comprehension than slow speech, right? So you need to be understood technically and not just mumbling like this, right? But it is quite confusing. Class instructions, right? So if we go to class instructions, we are just going down to this. And I'm going to give you this, right? Some time. I'm gonna give you like 3 minutes, right? To try to figure out what they are, right? So I'm going to just stop my camera so you cannot get, and I want you to, right, to start thinking about what is frame, sum, organization, and procedure, right? And I'll give you some minutes, right, to run the chart, right, what they mean to you. Now, we were working on this technically, and we asked you to write some definition of this in in the chat box about what phrase, summary, organization, procedure, mode, and outcome, stride and timing, right? And most of you are right. So let's talk about frame. Frame is an important part. It's like at the beginning of something, right? So it's when you indicate that the previous activity has finished and you need to go to the other one. And it's like typically we use like, right, okay, are you ready, right? Like it's okay, let's do this. But as you know, we need to be sure that everybody's listening to us, paying attention, because no, we cannot do an exercise while the students are just finishing, because they may demand to actually to repeat instructions while other groups are just working on. So the frames give you the opportunity to start analyzing this and say, okay, we are going to start this right now. Then we have the summary. The summary is like what you say. For example, when to do a play to practice asking questions. So what are you going to do? The purpose of this, right? The purpose of this is like, right, we're going to do some listening. So in order to reinforce your understanding, we're going to do some grammar exercises to practice past tense, to practice habits. We're going to do some speaking in order to reinforce your pronunciation of certain words. I do not know exactly, but you need to give me a summary. We're going to do the purpose. It's not just open up your books or look at the screen and do exercise number 1. You have to tell them the reason what they are doing, because they need to see the benefit of that exercise. So it says, we're going to listen, or we're going to read a story about 2 people, and I want you to read this because we are practicing scheming, right? I want you to get the idea of this, so that is for. So the student will say, okay, I know what I'm doing right now. It's not just I am reading because my teacher asked me to do it. And then we got the organization. So you have to tell them in your instructions, they're going to be in pairs, groups, or individually. So, and okay, students, you have to do this in groups, and you send them to the to the workup rooms, or you have to do individually, and you have to, and then we're going to compare, right? So how they're going to be organized. And or you can say you can use your word with your students, or you can need to just to watch the activity that is on screen, right? And the process is what the learners actually will be doing, like filling a questionnaire, rehearsing the dialogue, filling the gaps, exchanging information, matching what they need to do exactly. You don't say, yes, exercise number 2, do it. You say, okay, there is a matching exercise. We're going to do this exercise to reinforce your vocabulary about food. So I want you to match the column A with the column B. So you tell them the procedure of this. Then we have mode. The mode is related to the which skill you are using. Like this, for example, it's in a speaking task, and it's a writing task, and they need to know exactly what skill they are using, right? Then we have the outcome. We know that the outcome is the student's production, so you need to know exactly what they are going to produce. So if I ask my student to develop a project work, so the student need to see the project work done. So they need to see, okay, that's what you want me to do. Okay, I try to do that way. I want you to draw something, to draw, I don't know, of the family. So you have to show an example of a family, right? So they need to know exactly what you want. Why? Because if they produce something that you didn't ask, there was a teacher that I didn't know, so you asked me to do this. So the outcome is that reflects what you're going to do. So it's they're going to perform a dialogue or report, whatever they need to do, but they need to have a model what they're going to produce. Then we go for the strategy, right? And the strategy technically is if, for example, you say, okay, students, we're going to do a reading, right? So we're going to read a story of 2 people coming into a house, and it's kind of haunted house. So we're going to read and answer these questions that are true or false. So I want you to use, for example, I want you to underline all the adjectives, right? You found adjectives, underline the adjectives. So because this adjective will help you to get the answer. So this is trial is like a hint, an idea, because you're facilitating the task work. So, and the students go over that task, following your recommendations, so we'll get to the answer. So I'm going to be emphatic on this because sometimes we ask the students, okay, read the story and get the best answer. So, but some students, they read, but they don't know how to understand, how to infer or get the answer. Even they don't know how to skin or scan. So that's the idea of a trial. You need to give them how to do it. So if you teach them how to do it, so the outcome will be more valuable because the outcome the students will get sooner and using their own strategies. And this strategy is useful because they can transfer the strategy when they are in the exam time. They try to use the same strategy in exam time, so it will be beneficial, right? So timing is a must to tell the students how much time they need to dedicate to this, right? How long the learners have to complete that task. And in the computer, you can have a timer, then they can watch time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But of course, they need to remind them that they need to use the time the right way, depends on the activity. I may say, I may understand that the right ways also depend what you're doing. So for example, sometimes some teachers are training students for international exams. I need to tell them, so what is the right time to use depends on the question they're facing. So it's not the same one question in another question, right? So mathematics doesn't apply here, right? So that is the teacher's expertise, no, in order to understand how much time they need to dedicate to that question or to that activity. And finally, the cue. The cue is just the ending process of the activity. Sorry, the ending process of the distraction. You say, okay, now you understand, and so now you can start. So as you could see, so those elements in instructions, they give students the right way to understand what they are doing and how to do it, right? We're not just directing them how to do, and it's like open your books and read an answer, or open your workbook and just do it. Because you need to have a reason and need to have a strategy, because this will be useful for them when they face exams, right? Face exams. And you need to make these instructions effective, right? I'm going to use pass this because I just ran against time. It says you need first remember you need to attract students' attention, right? I used to play some kind of music in my classroom before I start my lessons. So telling them, okay, I'm going to give you like a minute, so you can organize yourself wherever you are. So as soon as the music stops, we start, no? So without any trouble. So I give students some time so they organize themselves. So and asking them be attentive in my lesson because this means that we are ready to start. And some teachers they use like a bell or I don't know, or they use a like screen like this. And we have to use simple language and sort of expressions, right? Remember the meta language, and we have to be careful when we use this, right? So use language at lower level than the language being taught, right? So you cannot increase your level of English because it's a waste of time and the students will not understand, and you can increase little by little with them, right? So, and also use short expressions, not long instructions the students won't remember, right? So remember, impoliteness, right, partly comes from an inappropriate use of language sometimes. So short instructions are entirely appropriate, right, to the situation. And be consistent. When we say consistent, it's like especially important with low-level lessons. Use the set of words for the same instruction. So try to use the same instruction, the same respective language that you need to understand. So when you give instructions, students may know what to do exactly. And then you can add other words, right? So you cannot, for example, you cannot increase your level of language and students may know what to do, right? So you have to be consistent with the exercise and the activity. Good. And then we have break the instructions down. If you consider this a long instruction, for example, even in pre-intermediate or intermediate level, when they have to do something and do something afterwards, also they need to be gentle to tell them exactly, okay, you have to do this first, and after we have to do that. So don't tell them yes in one go everything, because the some students may not understand, right? And give them time to assimilate instructions, right? Especially when you don't give the instructions that on the material, right? Because some teacher says, okay, students, I want you to unscramble the words, and when the book instruction says order the words. So the teacher use unscramble the words. So you make it more difficult to understand. And students say, teacher, what is unscramble? Put in order. Oh, teacher, why do you say that? So that is the idea, right? And it's connected. And we need to reflect as well on the delivering of our instructions. How do we reflect ourselves? For example, let's see this part. So this is our student, right? It says, all right, it's exercise number 3. I want you to sit in pairs and ask and answer these questions. Okay, go ahead. During, so the student doesn't do anything. Then, okay, everybody finished? Right, good. Now look at exercise number 4. So, and we didn't ask the students if they have done it. We only trust that they have finished it, right? And some students, they go and they feel, they have that sensation if what they done is right or wrong. Even though you ask them to tell the questions, right? To tell you the answer of your questions, how do you know all the students answer properly and they understood? No, they understood the idea of the activity, what is quite difficult in online situations, right? In online situations, we don't know exactly what they understood. You may say, is it clear? And they say, yes. And that's not a real yes sometimes. And remember, we don't need to ask this question, is it clear? Because they may say yes. Some students, they are not capable of saying, sorry, teacher, I didn't. So that technically, that's what we say, right? So this is interesting to analyze, right? This cartoon says, do not try to convince your students to do things what they are not good at. Do not give like these long instructions, and then we start reducing the level until we say, okay, please do page number 4. What is interesting, right? Some students start with a strong and a long instructions, and the students do not understand, and so we start reducing and says, okay, exercise number 4 complete. That's all. That is questionable sometimes, right? So we are not just to polish our English with them, right? And so I need to finish my my presentation with you. It says, and we need to be clear when to use the meta language at right level and how to elaborate our respective language according to the group, and also to give the right instructions, because the 3 of them are connected. So if one of them mislead the purpose of getting the students' attention or the students' idea how to do things, so you will fail, or you have to repeat as many times until you get tired. So when the student says, I'm sorry, I don't understand, so they're trying to say, maybe I don't understand you, or I don't understand what you said, or I don't know what to do, right? So we have to always think that maybe we are mistaken. Maybe it's not the right level of sending the information, right? So I want to thank you for being here. And thank you, Jesus, for this. I think we have a kind of gap in the listening today, but it's been now in order. Thank you for listening. Thank you for asking this. And I open to some questions you want to ask me, right?
Thank you, Julio, for your presentation. If anybody has any question, this is the link. I'm just posting for any question. I don't know, Julio, if you can check if you have so far any question to answer, or maybe it was pretty clear for most of us. I don't know. Right? So that's the link. If you want to formulate any question. Yeah, Ricardo says it was pretty clear for me. Julio always sets everything more than clear. Thank you very much. Thank you for attending today. Julio, I don't know, you have a link in which you can check if you have any question.
Yes, I am reading these questions. And somebody asked me, so what is the right level for teachers to teach? And personally, I will say something, but maybe it's against language schools. I I do believe that top teachers should teach in basic level, right? So I do believe that top teachers should be in charge of basic levels and not also in advanced levels. Why? Because top teachers, if they are top, they know how to teach, they have to use the language properly, so they will have most spectacular lesson with basic students, and they will love the language, will love the lesson and they keep on studying. And I've seen that some language schools, they send prospective teachers or teachers who have already finished their education or their English styles to teach basic number one. And some students got confused because maybe the teachers that new teachers don't know how to send information, they give wrong instructions, or maybe that they use advanced level of English and then the basic students don't understand, and there is a conflict level because now the learners say, I don't understand anything, so I give up. So I do believe that top teachers should start working with basic levels like this. It's like in preschool. I believe that top teachers in a school, they should be in charge of preschool level, because the preschool is the basis of the language, and the children need to have the right pronunciation, the right pace of English, so they have the right model, right? So imagine if you send a teacher who has already finished his or her styles, and he has some wrong words, so the kids will assimilate, will acquire the wrong pronunciation. So and this it costs a fortune to just to change or just to try to get rid of these words, because now this error becomes a fossil, and everybody knows that fossils are these tiny dinosaurs in people's heads that are quite difficult to take out of them, right? So this is my humble opinion about what type of teachers they need to teach in certain levels.
Yeah, thank you, Julio. And I fully agree with you, specifically on the fact that sometimes we believe that the teachers who have the highest level of proficiency in the language, they should go to maybe fifth or secondary or maybe higher levels in a language center. But as you mentioned, when you get students fossilized with specific errors, it's very costly I mean in time. And what we need to be careful of is that usually the teachers who have a maybe not a good pronunciation, they go to the lower levels, and then in the long term, the problem is grows bigger, right? Because of that we have to be careful on those levels, specifically because they are like sponges absorbing everything we teach. Thank you.
Yeah, and I read sometimes, I remember it's like mediocre teachers are cheaper. Yes, but in the future they're more expensive for institution. Yes, than top teachers, right? Yes.
That's true. Any other question? All right. Well, I think that everything was quite clear. So, if there are no more questions, thank you very much, Julio, for your presentation. Thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure as usual, and it was a very inspiring presentation. So now I'm going to just send the link for evaluation that the teachers who are our audience today need to fill in, right? This is the link for evaluation. Um, and well, I think that's it for today. I would like to thank Katia, who was with us in the first presentation, and as well as Julio, that was in charge of this second presentation about meta language. Thank you very much, teachers. Have a nice Saturday, and see you next week, because next week we continue with the presentations, right? We're going to have two more speakers next week, which is the 28th, right? Saturday, the 28th of November. We're going to have Mr. Augusto Lescano, who is another good friend of mine, and Julio Abanto again with another inspiring topic. Thank you very much. Take care. Enjoy your weekend and have a nice day. Goodbye. Thank you.